ladies and gentlemen, Amber Valdez is about to come on and just rock your world. This woman is a powerhouse, spreading so much light and love and igniting people, and also being the empowerer of people to step into and welcome and embrace the darkness, the shadow, the things that we're most afraid of, so that we can shine our light even more. Before we dive into that conversation, you out there, you're listening to this, you are a world changer. And whether you see yourself as that or you're still working up to that level of self-image, I just want you to know that every action that you take, every thought you think, every kind deed, every act of generosity makes a difference in this world. So I really acknowledge you for being that, and I want to support you however I can. Number one, if you are already getting your message out and you want to get it out even more, let's talk. I want to help you get that message out. If you want to be a guest on the 12-hour marathon, let's schedule a pre-interview and see if it's a good fit. Number two, if you want support, if you want to launch your own podcast like we've done with Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, and we're helping our clients do, it's a blast, and I want to support you in doing that as well. Or if there's anything else that you can think of, ways that I can support you, I'm here for you, okay? So you can get in contact with me via email, chris@beyourgps.com. You can message me on Facebook, facebook.com/th3burns, or you can find me on Instagram @IamMillionaireChris. Would love to hear from you and hear how we can continue to grow together. Next up is the iTunes review of the week, and let's see who it's by this week. This week it's by Bulletproof Bowdy. Bulletproof Bowdy says, Chris is contagious. The host has big energy and it's inspiring. The way he shows up is impressive and he has a great array of guests. Thank you so much, Bulletproof Bowdy. And if you want to give us a review, if you want to subscribe to the show, just go to iTunes, hit the subscribe button, and while you're there, let us know what you love about the show, what you want to see more of, how we can improve. We love the feedback, and we appreciate you being a part of the community and this movement of being and becoming your greatest possible self. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. Stay tuned because we got an amazing interview with Amber coming up, and so many more interviews. We release a new episode just about every single day to keep you just like flying high on being your greatest possible self. So it's a blast. Now, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes. I'm sure a lot of this is going to be experiential. There's going to be new possibilities, new realms of what you can do, how you can show up in the world because of this conversation with Amber. So make sure you stay all the way through till the end because you never know what one idea, and this, I'm sure this is going to be full of ideas, but you never know which one of these is really going to make the difference for you. So we're going to talk about owning your shadow, igniting your impact and your income, and really stepping into your greatest possible self. So let's introduce Amber, and then we'll bring her on the screen because Amber Valdez, she is a former TV personality and NFL cheerleader turned life purpose cheerleader. Amber is an author and a speaker who is leading 1 million lightworkers to own their light, remember why they came, and become their own healer so they can get paid for their purpose. Heck yes! In 2016, her book, Sticky Affirmations to Live Your Purpose, went international #1 Amazon bestseller list. Amber serves an international tribe of lightworkers, coaches, and healers, and she is the creator of the Lightworker Activation Worldwide Workshop. The Turn Your Crazy into Purpose virtual program and the Let Your Light Shine live video bootcamp, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about today. It's freaking blowing up, and that teaches lightworkers to both own their dark and their light and shine authentically online. Bottom line, Amber is committed to being the cheerleader for others that she never had. Showing soul assignment. And our socks are about to be blown off of our bodies. Amber, you ready to rock the house, girl?
Woo!
I love
yes,
it.
I am.
A cheerleader to your core. So awesome.
What's up, tribe?
Oh my gosh.
What's up,
Thank you for being here. You are just like such a light in the world, and I'm so excited for what we're going to be delivering to our audience and everyone who gets to see this because I know it's going to be an epic interview. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
There's no better way to kick off my morning than cheering on souls to be on purpose and live their purpose and get paid for it. So
Oh my
let's
goodness.
do it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to dive right into the theme of today, which, guess what it is? It is unapologetically authentic. And I know we were talking about how sometimes that word can be a little overused. We're going to be diving into like the deeper parts of that in this interview, but just in your own opinion, what does that mean to you? How has that impacted your journey? Unapologetically authentic, Amber.
Oh my goddess. So thank you. Yes, this word has been thrown around a lot. And it's interesting, right? We say the word authentic, but there tends to be, in my experience, what we're witnessing on the global stage and on the online space is there's a lot of authenticity that's super inauthentic,
Wow.
right? Like, let me think of something that I can share that would appear as authentic, when really it's super scripted and it's all bullshit. So to be unapologetically authentic, it's not something you try and do. It's something that you get in the practice of just being. And I think a lot of people are trying to be authentic instead of just being authentic.
Wow.
And authenticity is being honest about what's alive for you in every single moment. Whether that be I'm pissed, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm disappointed, and just owning all of the human emotion that is in that current present moment, because that's where the real power is. And I think we were trained by society and parents that were doing the best they could, and old belief systems of like sweep it under the rug, be a good girl, be a good boy, be polite, stuff it down, that put on this show. And so we're kind of swimming in this world of like stuffing down all these emotions, which we'll get into, is causing disease, disharmony, and having us slowly lose who we are and dim our light like beyond. So I think this generation is like, yo, sweeping stuff under the rug, pretending everything's cool is not cool anymore. And so being unapologetically authentic takes practice and rewiring and reprogramming everything you've been taught.
Amen. Total like paradigm revolution. And I love that we're out here leading the charge, and you're doing this in spades. You're like just absolutely blowing it up. So tell us a little bit more about you, your professional purpose and what your clients come to you for. I mentioned a little bit about in your bio, but just share it in your own words, Amber.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So I just want to give a little context. So I grew up in a super emotionally, mentally, and physically abusive home. My father was an addict, so he was in and out of our lives. My mother suffers from mental disorder, and so it was a very unstable environment. And so there was really not a lot of space to express your emotion. It was like, get over it, right? There wasn't a lot of capacity for that. My mom has something called borderline personality disorder, which is the cross between schizophrenic and bipolar. So there's not a lot of empathy in the home. And so I learned really early on that I needed to be my own cheerleader. And I was told you're too much, or calm down, or be quiet. There wasn't a lot of space for me to be bright and to be free. And it was like I had to grow up really fast. And so, coming into that and then moving into high school, cheerleading, I got to put a smile on my face. I got to pretend that everything was okay. Put a smile on and cheer on the teams and the clubs, and really just be that cheerleader for other people that I never had, so I could kind of avoid what was going on. My CPS, Child Protective Services, was in and out of my home my whole childhood. I got kicked out more times than I could think of, and it was just a very unstable environment. So through cheerleading literally saved my life. It kept me out of like premature sex and drugs and getting into trouble. And so I'm so grateful for that. And I didn't really make that distinction until a podcast interview about few months ago, where I was like, wow, cheerleading really did save my life.
Wow.
And being that cheerleader for other people was me being able to compartmentalize the pain and suffering that I was experiencing. So moving into the NFL, and then, making my way down to LA, but all throughout I was a TV host on my high school news show. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, I did the whole like gigging and did the red carpet thing, and it was my dream for as long as I could remember to interview people. And so it wasn't until I went through this really gnarly dark night of the soul experience about 6.5, 7 years ago, where I lost my father. I found out the man that I was living with and was set to marry was a sex addict, was having sex with strangers behind my back. And then I was in the space of really diving deep into my spirituality and knowing that I wanted to make an impact and raise the consciousness of this planet, but it wasn't gossiping about celebrities. And I had the biggest callback in my life, literally 5 callbacks, which means 5 interviews, which means pretty much yours. And on the set of this entertainment news broadcast station, I literally had this out-of-body experience. My heart was broken. from my relationship. I was mourning deeply because of my father, and my dream was dead. So my house and home was dead, my relationship was dead, my dream was dead, and my dad was dead. And I found myself suicidal. And in that moment, I knew that like I didn't care how much money they were going to pay me. I couldn't gossip about people and be raising the consciousness of the planet. And so that day, my intention was to take my life. Like I was dead in every way, shape, or form. There wasn't enough makeup or hair that could make me feel whole. And I'd been chasing my self worth through like the pursuit of fame. It makes me so sad to be accepted, to be loved, and through over exercising and obsessed with my appearance and being on a reality show and a TV host. It was this all outer sense of let me just look like I'm got my shit together and I'm okay. But on the inside, I was far from okay. And I ended up that day getting enrolled into an emotional intelligence program that completely changed my life. And I realized that my sole assignment was not to be on TV, it's to be the cheerleader for 1 million people that I never had. And then I became the life purpose cheerleader. And so for the past 6 years now, I've been leading healers, coaches, momtrepreneurs, boss babes, and any human with a huge soul on their heart to get them from where they are to where they want to be, but really starting off with owning deep levels of self-love and self-worth. Because if you don't own that, there's no way you're ever going to be able to execute your life purpose or have the clarity to see it. And so I do online programs, I do worldwide workshops, and I speak and yell at my phone for a living. One of the things that I'm really passionate about is live video, because I built a complete business online from the power of vulnerability on live video with zero marketing dollars. And I went from 700 followers to 10,000 overnight. And my business completely blew up. And I'm committed to empowering other people with massive medicine on their heart, a huge mission and a message to, like you, to give them the tools to be successful and to lead with authenticity and vulnerability so they can connect from deep levels of empathy and compassion and create trust.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is like, there's so much gold in there. I really also love how just a couple months ago you noticed that like you were being this cheerleader in your life to like cover up not feeling supported, not feeling encouraged yourself, like able to share your emotions, and you were like out there cheering other people on. And like that's where it's so cool, because that gift and that strength and that superpower was really ignited within you. Not necessarily from the greatest source, right? It was from a source of pain. It was from a source of suffering, but you gained these skills and abilities. And then over time, you really got to work on that core so that you could heal it, so that you could share authentically what was going on. You recognized the entertainment life and gossiping about celebrities. That wasn't fulfilling you. That wasn't getting that core purified and healed and just like really doing your soul justice in this lifetime. So you said, you know what, I'm going to go out and contribute to people in a big way. You had this, you said, out of body experience that really had you wake up. You were probably sounded like you were in a lot of pain at that point. You're like I don't know how it can get any worse than this. Like I feel off purpose. I feel like everything that was supposed to work out and this guy I was supposed to get married to, it's like everything that you knew crumbled away. And so you get to say, okay, so who am I really? What are the roots that I get to go back to? And you listened, you went within, and you found out that you're meant to cheer people on in their purpose. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is the epitome, I think, of the dark night of the soul, which is what they say is your final spiritual awakening that really goes, okay, like, let me take all the bullshit away so you can really remember why you came and get back into alignment with source so you can be in service to the world.
Wow, amazing. So let's dive into this conversation about authenticity, and then we'll go even deeper into shadow, or however we want to weave it together. It's all good. But I know you mentioned in the beginning that a lot of people are being authentic in a way that is inauthentic. What do you mean by that, and how do we know if we're trying to be something that we're not, so that people will accept us and we'll get more popularity on social media?
Thank you. I think this is such an important topic, and it's tricky, right? Because like, who are we to say they're inauthentic? For me and many of us, I'm sure in your community, are extremely intuitive. And that's what makes me such a great coach and a leader, is that I am psychic as a mofo. And so when I feel like I hear someone speak, have you guys ever had those people where they're saying all the right things, but you feel nothing? You're just like, they're really good at facilitating. They're really good at saying the right things, but something's off, right? You guys know those people. That is the indicator that someone is trying to be authentic. And it's crazy because I had some people who I was sharing about being inauthentic, and they always wear makeup. And I saw one girl do a video and she like purposely messed up her hair and like purposely did no makeup. And she was like, yeah, I just woke up, I have no makeup. And it was like clearly acting
Yeah.
inauthentic instead of just being like, wow, something's really alive for me right now. It's freaking 7 a.m. or it's 3 in the afternoon and I'm with my kids and I have no makeup on. My hair's a hot mess, but like this is on my heart and I need to share, right? Because it's alive right now. Instead of staging the physical appearance to look like I'm messy, right? So it's an interesting distinction, but it's like the things that we're scared to share because we think mom, dad, neighbors, social media, our parents, our friends will judge us. That's generally the stuff that's going to create massive amounts of trust, intimacy, and mutual trust and respect, and have people see themselves in you and then want to work with you or invest in whatever it is you have to offer. And that's like what I learned through building my business organically with no marketing tactics or schemes. And when you're authentic, you can't mess up, right? When you're really truly yourself, which is why you see, a really kind of nerdy person on the dance floor and like they are just getting it, right? And they can't dance with a rhythm for shit. And you're just like, oh, you're so inspired, right? There's a part of your heart that just goes, yes, get it, right? And you don't know the guy from Adam, but you're just like, that's what's up. And he is in his own world and he is living his best damn life. That's authentic. And every human's like, ooh, we lean into that, right? And so it's like, how can you learn to be yourself? How can you unlearn all the masks? How can you unlearn the fear of getting it right and messing it up? All the things we were taught as kids, and just be you, and not try to be anything else. If you feel like cursing, curse. If you feel like yelling, yell. If you feel like crying, cry. Like allow your human beingness to be all of you. And so that's the ticket. And listen, it takes practice, especially because we've been taught our whole life to not share things, right? Especially our 1950s generation. I'm 40. So like, our parents were like, zip it, like self-development was non-existent back then. Like therapy just became cool in like the 80s. And that's like old paradigm now. And so it's like, get a coach, give me tools. Let's just not keep me in the victim loop. So authenticity takes practice. And it's not easy, but it's the only way of living a life worth living is speaking your truth in every single moment. I think a lot of people are scared.
Yeah. How do we capture that aliveness you mentioned? Like something is alive for me right now. How do we identify it and then communicate it in a way that has us own who we are? Like, is there anything you could guide us around that?
Yes. So, our body is like our head is 1/10 of this beautiful human suit, this meat suit we chose this lifetime on assignment and on consignment, as not for bear says. So we've got this 1/10 of our body that's like running the freaking show. But we've got this 9/10 of our body that's like, yo, I'm also here. And it's about getting out of our head and getting into our body. And so many of us are in the human doing and not in the human being. And this is something that's really come online for me because I had a program and a loop running to like do, go, go, go. Because if I sat still, my whole life would have fallen apart. I had to face off with all the pain and all the trauma and all the sadness and all the things. And so humans keep themselves really busy. And that's why you have women in this society who are giving birth that didn't even know they were pregnant. They are so disconnected from their body, probably because they were molested or they had massive trauma. And our humans have been like trying to figure out our way through life instead of feeling our way through life. So it's starting to learn to listen to your body. And one tool I use with my clients, and I had this amazing woman who's an architect in Seattle, super successful, but all up here, like living her life up here. It was affecting her marriage. It was affecting her fun, her joy, her relationships, everything. And we had her set an alarm in her phone every couple hours where she was so go, go, go on the desk, right? High profile architect. And set an alarm in her phone to check in, ask her body, what do you need right now? And she was finding herself going 6-7 hours on the desk and not peeing and not having water, like straight up just like in the machine. And that was creating so much disconnect everywhere in her life. And so from that experience, being like, body, what do you need? Listening. I need to walk. I need to go outside. I need to take a pee. I need some water. I need to breathe. Right. And we would have her breathe for 1 minute deeply, using some qigong, like deep dantian breaths, which is expanding your belly out and all the way in and slowing down the central nervous system, recalibrating the brain, and literally giving oxygen to the cells in the body that are on high alert. Because when we're working like that,
Mm.
we're yin deficient, and we are like, our body's on high alert, cortisol, stress, and we're doing this to our bodies, and so our bodies are like, help. So how you can start to practice an indicator when something's alive, you're going to feel some type of way. Maybe you feel it in your throat. Maybe you feel it in your heart. Maybe you feel it in your stomach. And I often ask my clients, when you're feeling something, where do you feel it in your body?
Yeah.
And start to honor that and be like, all right, throat, I'm hearing you. What do you want to say to me? Like, real talk. Our body is talking to us.
Yeah.
Our body creates dis-ease when there's energy trapped, right? When we don't face off with pain and suffering. Oh, I'm good. I got over it. I talked about it in therapy. It's cool. Yeah, your brain rationalized it, but what about your body? That trauma, that pain, that confusion had to go somewhere, right? Which is why we are the most stressed out country in the world, and why it's so important that we face off with listening. So when you get in the practice of listening to your body, and Louise Hay was one of my greatest mentors, and late Louise Hay, or not late, she's just on the other side, and she was the person that really got me in the process of learning how to listen to my body and know that every single disease in our body is created from a thought pattern, and it's unresolved energy, or unresolved guilt, anger, resentment, or pain, that has to go somewhere. And so if we can start listening to our body, we'll start to get those little hits of like, I'm triggered right now, or I'm frustrated, I'm passionate, or I'm feeling this, allowing the feeling and speaking into it, because that's gold. When you're all up in the mix and you're messy and you go live and you're like, da-da-da-da-da, people are like, yeah, they feel you. They feel your passion. They feel your heart, your soul, right? And they connect to that. And that's one of those things that I tell my clients, like, an idea comes, or something goes down in your life, that's your content. And that's when you go live, or you push record on your podcast, or you do an Instagram story, whatever you get to do, because you try to redo that later, it doesn't have as much oomph and power and vibration, because it's not what you're saying, it's who you're being. And so in that moment, capturing that juiciness is a great practice.
So someone might say, okay, so something's coming alive for me right now, feeling alive. I'm feeling challenged. I'm feeling, like whatever kind of intense emotions are going on in life, like, to be able to just communicate that, whether it's being super high on life and so stoked and like, man, life's amazing, to share that peak energy is super important, as well as, man, I am stressed out, like I'm late to things, I was late to this thing and I just like judged myself, or whatever comes up, like I think it's just whenever those intense emotions hit, then it's an opportunity to just be real with our audience and say, hey, this is going on, here's how I'm dealing with it, here's how I'm responding to it, here's how I'm doing my best to process and show up, hey, I'm human, and here's what I'm doing about it. I think it's important to not just say, okay, I suck, I'm miserable, and just stay in there, wallow in that. You got, like, in my opinion, as an influencer, as a leader, as a role model, you say, this sucks, and here's what I'm doing about it. I don't have it all figured out yet, I don't have all the answers, but fucking A, I'm taking the next step.
Yeah. And I think we have a responsibility as influencers and leaders and world changers to stop showing our freaking highlight reel, because we are giving people freaking depression. They're looking at our lives and they're like, oh my God, like, I asked my friend Emily last night, she's also an influencer, and I hate the word influencer, but she's changing the world. And she's like, I was like, I wonder what people think about me. Like, it was like the first time I've ever thought, like, I wonder when people look at my Instagram, they're like, she's in Greece, she's in Africa, she's here, she's there, she's everywhere. And like, I wonder what people think about that, right? Because it's like, people make up stories, right? Which, so if you're up to big things and you're making money and you're doing the things, people are putting you on a pedestal, unfortunately. And they're over here going like, oh, my life sucks, which is why ever since social media came in, statistics are showing there's more depression, there's more this, there's more that, because people are in this crazy comparison. Life is not real. Like, Instagram's the highlight reel, right, of most people's lives. And like, I've given feedback to some of the clients I've worked with that are like, I'm like, your Instagram's too perfect. Like, you look like you're living your best damn life all the time. And if I'm someone that like looks at you, you're beautiful, you're in shape, you got marriage, you're this, you're that, where is the depth? Where is the messy? I'm like, girl, you need to do one picture without makeup on. Like, you need to do one thing in your sweats. Like, you are so polished And then it's like you're creating so much disconnect
Yeah.
with like people who are not showing up like that every day of their life. Like, I really want makeup, but I'm not saying there's anything wrong with makeup. I'm just saying, like, if it's too perfect, like the Barbie, right? Think about how much drama the Barbies and the Disney princesses gave to girls that, like, I don't look like that.
Wow.
Like, I'm less than. And so, as a role model, it's our responsibility to show all of our life, not just our highlight reel,
Amen.
and learn how to turn our mess into a message and to turn it into a teachable,
Mm.
right? And it could be like, look, I'm in it right now. Whoa, sorry. I'm in it right now, and I don't really know where to go from here, like you said, but I just wanted to be honorable. I wanted to share. Like, let's open the conversation. Like, this is where I'm at. This is new for me. And, you know, really sharing vulnerably, like, I'm nervous or I'm scared or I'm not sure where to go next or it feels too much for me right now. Have you guys ever felt that way? Like, getting in the conversation with your audience so they see your humanness.
Wow.
And learning how to turn your mess and your message and turning it into a teachable,
Yeah.
whether you're in it or whether you're past it or whether you're about to embark on it, is a gift, and it takes practice with the storytelling. But that's why it's really important just to be like, hey, you know, this is going to be a rant. Like, just so you know, prepare yourself. I'm just going to share, right? I don't know where this is going to go, but like, I just want to let you know, like, I'm going there. This is going to be messy, full warning, right? And be okay with that.
Epic. I love it. So I also want to distinguish this shadow that we talked about in the headline and what we really want to dive into even more. What is the shadow and how does that relate to being authentic?
Thank you. So I really got into shadow work by this woman named Debbie Ford. She wrote the book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And I invite anyone to read that book. And it's, you know, us light workers, leaders, world changers, feel like it's our responsibility to show up bright and positive and share the highlight reel and, you know, always be happy and always have it figured out and always have the thing to say. It's a lot of freaking pressure and it's not real. There is dark and light in all of us. And like Knuckle Bear says, I'm pretty sure I'm equal parts of both, and we are. It's the yin and the yang, right? It's the light and the dark. And it's in everything. It's the contrast. It's the sun and the moon. We couldn't have plants grow if it was sun all the time. We need the moon, right? For the moon shade vegetables to grow. Like, it's so necessary. We are both parts. And for so long, our society has made us wrong for being for our wrong. And I'm air quoting wrong. And for so long, I had a story about being too masculine, right? And not having a dad around, and my mom being, you know, the way she was. You know, I didn't really know what feminine looked like. And it wasn't until a few years in Africa that one of my friends said to me, like, you're like one of the most feminine girls I know. And I was like, what? You know, like, I'm like a tomboy. I'm like, never really wear dresses. I am right now. But like, and like, what do you mean by that? Right. And I had made myself wrong for being too masculine. And I was made wrong by men who weren't in their masculine, who were actually in their feminine. Right. They weren't strong and steady and holding container and grounded. They were, you know, they were in their emotion, you know, and the emotion is the feminine. The feminine is destruction. The feminine is Mother Nature and thunder and lightning and chaos and recreating itself, you know, and that's not the masculine. And I think that as humans, we make ourselves wrong for what society deems as the masculine or deems as the masculine. We're supposed to be like, you know, men try to get in their masculine and then they're like over aggressive and like demeaning, and women try to get in their feminine, they become passive. Right. And we have masculine and feminine within us. And so it's same with the light and the dark. We have these things that we're not proud of, these things we've done, these things that have been done to us, these things that we're embarrassed of the way we act or our personality traits, or, you know, maybe I'm always late, or maybe I'm, you know, cut people off and I interrupt, or maybe these things that we beat ourselves up for that are our shadow, the things that we don't want people to see, right? The things that we don't want our best friends to see, our lovers to see, or God forbid, our clients in the world to see. That's our shadow. And that is actually what we get to embrace and love and own, so we can be a fully expressed human. And so shadow work is going into all these almost like personalities and masks that you've created and learning to love all of those that at one point helped you survive. And for me, I had a ton. I was a chameleon. I had like a million friends in a million different groups. And every time I was with a different group, I act different. You know, if I'm with the rappers, I'm acting one way. And if I'm with the DJs, I'm acting another way. If I'm with the jocks, I'm with super rich, like stuffy people, I'm another way. And I like had all these different ways, right? And all those shadows served me,
Mm.
right, at certain point.
Mm.
And so it's imperative that we face off with the dark sides of ourselves and transmute them into the light so they stop having power over us. And as soon as I started to own my bitch, that
Mm.
bitch
Mm.
gets her money back when she's being disrespected,
Wow.
or if a meal is not correct, and or we're being treated poorly, or the airline screws up, or whatever. I'm the one who like fights for justice.
Wow.
And sometimes people are like, oh yeah, send Amber in. She'll get us into the club, or she'll get us into the event, or she'll get our money back from getting done wrong when our RV that broke down 7 times on our way back from Burning Man and almost killed us.
Wow.
So send in the bitch, because she actually serves her purpose at times. So
Wow.
why are we make her wrong for
Mm.
her aggression and her masculine,
Mm.
right? But I did. And I felt less than, and I beat myself up for those things. And so the dark side of the light chasers was a game changer for me. And as soon as I started owning my shadow even more in my business, my business just completely began to explode. And I had a video that went viral like 2 times over, because I completely shared all of it. And I was getting these little like whispers from family of like, who does she think she is?
Mm.
Like, we remembered her when she was dancing on tables at the club, and who does she think she is? We remember when she was doing ecstasy and she was a
Mm.
party girl and she couldn't pay her rent. And who does she think she is? She's a coach. She's a life coach. Give me a break. Like, we know who she is.
Damn.
Now, mind you, I'm 40, and that was when I was like 19 to 21. But your family and old friends, and correct me if I'm wrong here, seem to hold you to this old
Yeah.
version of you
Yeah. Yeah.
because they don't know you anymore.
Right.
And so I owned my power and just let it all out. I pulled the freaking curtain back, and I'm like, here's my mess.
Wow.
Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. And I forgave myself for it all.
Wow.
And if you judge me, that's on you, because that's not who I am today. And it was crazy, the amount of feedback, comments, shares, likes. I was like, people were like, this was the most powerful video. Like, they felt empowered because they were like, wow, I want to live my life like that. And they're like, me too. Like, and it was just this beautiful remembrance that like none of us are shadow. Everyone has a shadow. And that shadow got us to where we are today. That shadow led us on our path. And that shadow gets to be celebrated and loved too. Right. And we don't have to hold ourselves to that old version of ourselves, but we do get to honor and bless it. And then from that space of owning all those things publicly, I stood taller, and I needed less approval, because I was like, I'm the one that gets to forgive myself for these things, not you.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is great, Amber. I want to dive into specifically people who are building a brand online. How can they approach this without, let's say, like damaging their reputation by sharing something that's too vulnerable, or I guess I don't know if too vulnerable is even, if that's a word or if that's possible. But how does someone who's creating a brand, creating content out to inspire people, how do they do this at an appropriate level? Would you recommend?
Well, I might be the wrong person to ask for this about this, because I think everything's appropriate.
Mm.
Because I think when we censor what we're willing to share, the person out there in the world that needs to not know they're alone, and I'm just going to use something like rape. Okay. Let's say said person was raped, and let's say said person was like, it's not appropriate to share that my father raped me. Okay. My dad didn't rape me, but I'm just saying, let's just say that they feel that's inappropriate. And there are people swimming in the harbor who've been raped by their father, and they've never shared about it, and they feel less than, or maybe they can't get a decent relationship, or maybe they don't date anybody, or whatever their story is. By that person sharing that truth online, immediately that person doesn't feel like they're alone. Immediately that person is like, wow. Wow. And you become permission slip for healing. You become a permission slip for people to see that their life is, they're not a horrible human being.
Yeah.
And they have nothing to be ashamed of. So it's like, when we censor, and I'll just use myself. So when I got out of my relationship with my narcissistic ex-boyfriend, and I didn't even know what a narcissist was until I broke up with this human, and I started getting friends, started sending me emails and articles and blogs and theses. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. You know, just like bipolar disorder is real, clearly,
Yeah.
of course, there's going to be a personality disorder called narcissism, i.e., our president. So, at any rate, extreme case, which is like, but why doesn't he see that there's no one in the audience? Because he's a narcissist. Okay, he can't. There's a wire loose. So,
Right.
at any rate, blessing. I was terrified to
Mm,
share this.
mm,
Like, terrified. Like, here I am, the life purpose cheerleader, lighting people to love themselves, own their worth. And I had this huge awakening of like, oh my God, I have been getting abused for the past, this is 3 years of my life. I've had my blinders on. I've
mm,
been so committed to my vision and bringing my own self joy and create this beautiful life outside of my relationship. And now I have to be honest that like, I don't have it all figured out. Like, and I'm not owning my worth. And as soon as me, as who I be and like my soul contract this lifetime, if something's out of integrity,
mm,
I can't. Like my whole
mm.
body goes into like Darcy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like C's, wires. And I'm like, oh my God, I had this come to Jesus moment. I heard my friend online after I shared this huge share online. She got inspired and, Ham on her social, another influencer. And she's talking about how she's so sick of women not owning their worth. And she was just
Mm.
like lit up. Jenna Phillips Ballard, I love you.
Oh,
And I was just sobbing in my bathroom, like, oh my God, I have to break up with this man. Like, I'm not owning my worth. I'm not being treated right. And
mm,
having to own that publicly, I was shaking and I was crying during my video. And I was like, I am a codependent. And I thought that self development healed that. And I'm realizing I'm not healed of that. And I'm still navigating through this. And I'm embarrassed and I'm
mm,
ashamed. And now that I know and I'm aware that I'm not owning my worth in my relationship, I've chosen to end it.
mm.
And it
Wow.
doesn't mean that all the people I'm serving, I'm not making a difference, that I'm not changing lives. I can be both. I can be changing the world and also still blind to my blind spots and
Yep.
still have my own shit.
Yep.
And I got hundreds
Mm,
of freaking comments and emails of people going like, oh my God, I think I'm in a relationship with a narcissist. Oh my God, my father was a narcissist. Now this is all making sense. Like people just like, that was so brave. And I got backlash like, from one person who was my ex's boss's wife, like lit me up on social, and then my
mhm.
tribe went at her, and it was like, wow, like I was terrified to own that.
Yeah.
That I was not comfortable, and I didn't
Mm,
use his name, but
mm,
I owed it to my tribe, to my community, to my audience, because there are women out there that were suffering, and that when I shared that truth, they got curious and they got to begin their healing.
mm,
And so many people would say that's completely inappropriate. I could never share that. Okay, that's a choice, but why is spirit gifting you with that lesson? Why are
mm.
you in that mess in the first place if it's not to transform it into light and to share and lead other people to do the same?
Wow. My goodness. So this is like these gifts, these experiences are total gifts to give back to the world, to help other people, support them, contribute to them in their own healing, to be able to access their greatest love, their greatest joy, their greatest freedom. And as long as people are holding on to that wound and that trauma, and they feel ashamed, they feel guilty, they stuff it down, then they can't be their best version. They can't be healed. They can't be, happy, truly free. And so I think it's incredible. And I know you're also empowering people to go on live video. Like that's a big thing for you. And you created this course to help people do that. Tell us a little bit more about that and why you created this course to help people let their light shine live.
Yeah, let their shadow shine, right? Like all of
Yeah,
it's
both.
coming. Yeah. So doing the deep shadow work myself, and then I was in a Kundalini yoga class, and spirit comes to me a lot in meditation in that class,
Mm,
and said, "You need to help light workers
mm,
own their voice and get them out online. Like you have 10 years of on camera. Why are you not? And you built a business. Why are you not helping people with this specific? Like this is
mm,
your zone of genius.
mm,
You know how to turn your mess into your message, and people need to stop hiding out. They have a medicine on their heart, which is most oftentimes pain that
mm,
they went through. We teach what we want to learn. We teach what we've been through, what we're growing through. You can't sell out on the world anymore." And I was like, oh, wow. Like, duh. Like, why wouldn't shame on me? Right. Like, I
yeah,
had that, like, yeah, I'm hoarding this, like,
mm,
this
wow,
ticket, this golden ticket. And I find, especially with the healers and the light workers, oftentimes are really struggling to make ends meet, but they're powerful
mm,
and they have so much, they're healing people, but they're
mm,
suffering. And I'm like, that doesn't work for me Like,
Mm.
I want the healers and the light workers of this world to be getting paid the most because they're making the biggest impact. And so the course for me is an opportunity to get people to learn how to build their business without spending a lot of money.
Mm.
And people who had no marketing dollars, like myself. I was like eating out of a can when I started my business. I had just gotten an accident. I blew through all my savings. Like, I was in it. And all I had was my video as my phone
Mm.
and a
Mm.
platform called Periscope. And I was sharing what was alive for me every day. Sometimes I'd go on 2, 3 times a day. And I just started to build this following by sharing all my stuff and giving them teachable moments. And so the Let Your Light Shine Live Bootcamp is a 4-week journey with 5 sessions. You get support coaches, you get a buddy, accountability buddy, and you get growth work assignments every single week to go live in a small container that support you with owning all of you, that support you with articulating, support you with getting comfortable in front of the camera, and you get feedback.
Mm.
You get loving feedback of what's working. Do I trust you? Do I not? Like, we really go there, and the students learn so much about themselves. They own their shadow, they own their light, and they finally go live out into their platforms. And it is, by the end of the boot camp, the most epic thing to see their faces transform, and they're lighter. So it's like self-development meets like live video boot camp. It's like all of it. So when they own who they are online, they can definitely own it in their real life and vice versa. And it's crazy the parallel. The people that are like terrified to share online are not being honest with their partners, their family, their relationships. They don't really know who they are because they are still being consumed by their shadow. And they're still wearing the mask of like, I'm just going to pretend it's cool. And so it's been so beautiful to see these souls transform, their businesses blow up 10x, 20x their businesses, creating retreats and events and YouTube channels. And just like, I look at them and I'm like, when I see them pop up in my feed, I'm like a proud mom moment. I'm like, they're killing it. Whether they're entrepreneurs or boss babes or entrepreneurs or network
Yeah.
marketers or people with products on their heart, like in their soul, it's like learning how to really be you and own all of you will create a beautiful ripple in all areas of your life. And that's really what it's about. At first, I thought it was just for people who, were selling something or offering
Mm.
something. But
Mm.
the students last round were like, no, Amber, this course is for everybody. Like, this course is for everyone that wants to own themselves. And just to see people fully expressed and fully shine and fully free is like the biggest gift ever.
That's amazing. And I also, something I think for people who are listening, it's like if you feel inspired by what I'm doing, by what Amber is doing, by what these people who you're inspired by, podcasts that are getting, millions of downloads, YouTube channels that have millions of subscribers, if you feel like, man, how could I ever do that? That's like so far off. It's so impossible. It's so not me. But if you feel like a soul calling, a nudge saying that sounds exhilarating. That sounds exciting. It sounds like adventurous. Listen to that nudge. Take the next step, like find out more how you can get started, how you can start communicating better, how you can share your message, your heart, your soul with the world, whether you do have a product or a service to share about, or you just want to grow your connection, your relationship with yourself, like dive deeper, like own all aspects of yourself. That's beautiful, Amber.
Yeah, and that's the thing I want to just really like affirm. Like, you don't have to be a coach to have a podcast. You don't have to be, someone that wants to speak on stages to go live on video. Like, you can have something to say about the government. You can have something to say about the neighborhood. You can have something to say about kids and parents and adults and animals in the ocean. Like, your matters. Your voice is significant. Your passion, like what's alive on your heart, gets to be shared because you could change one person's life from what you have to share. You could make someone pivot in their business or leave their relationship or get involved in picking up trash on the beach. Like, that could turn into like one person's life. Like, you have the power to, at the bare minimum, change one person's life, which could change the world. You can light that fire within their soul. And like, it's up to all of us to be lighting souls on fire everywhere we go. But the only way we can do that is if our light is turned all the way on and we're not worried about being judged or censoring what we say or being liked and approved of. And so it's our duty, whether you see yourself as an influencer or not, you are a freaking influencer. And you are a human being who fought really hard to get here this lifetime. And you didn't come here to suck air, to just buy stuff and just work at a job you hate. You actually came here for a reason, for a soul assignment that only you can do. So we need you to be turned all the way on, like the lighthouse you are, right? in any way, shape, or form, where it's carpentry or it's recycling or making cookies, like straight up, like you matter, your voice matters, your light matters. We need you.
Wow. It's so beautiful. And I think as people own their voice more and they're sharing it on video or whatever the medium is, that like we're healing ourselves and we're also giving other people permission to heal themselves. So I think it's so inspiring, that person who's never done a live video before and then they go live, and imagine like all the people in their community, in their family, in the people they grew up with, whatever, like just plants that seed. Like, what? I didn't know this person. This person was always like, shy and introverted. Like that was me. I was like afraid to get on stage. My face, even in front of the classroom, my face would turn beet red. I'm like going back there. I'm like stuttering and stuff. Like I was so nervous. I was so afraid, deathly afraid of being seen, of being judged, of like getting up there and screwing up. And I had to really work through a lot of that. But I know through doing that, I've like where I'm at today, I can only imagine the amount of people that I've inspired over the years. And so I'm just like, I'm so grateful for the work that you're doing, Amber. It's incredible.
It's so true. Like I saw a lady with like a knitting show on Facebook. And I'm like,
knitting show.
And she's got a lot of views. Like people love it. And I'm like, they're literally like, you could be talking about turtles. Like in your tribe, your turtle lovers, they gonna find you.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter. Like whatever lights your soul up. Like share it. And you're so right. Like my students are like, oh my God, I inspired my whole downline to go live. And like, oh my gosh, my grandma went live after she saw me. Like, I want to get a hold of this thing. And like, just like people just this is how we connect in 2019, guys. Like this is the magic wand of our time. Like I know we got friends and tribe from all around the world. Like I literally have worldwide clients in coaching business and sisters and brothers from across the world, like Australia, New Zealand, and Bali, like pretty much the farthest you can get away, India. And they would have never found me if I didn't get over myself and I didn't go live. And then when I was going live, people could feel my heart and people could feel my passion. And I wasn't just like, okay, guys, so get your affirmations out and write I love myself, and like I'm all over the place.
That's inauthentic.
But that's authentic. And some other people, that might be really authentic. And I'm probably too much for a lot of people, right? And that's just not my tribe. And that's okay. You're not going to be it for everybody,
Yeah, I think I've heard that you can't be the wrong you for the right person, right? Like, so the right person who's supposed to be with you, who's supposed to connect with you, you can't screw it up if you're just being you and you're just being real. And I love what you said at the beginning. Like, some people have all the right words and they show up with the polished presentation, but you don't feel the connection. You don't feel that deep like soul coming through them. And so I think that simply just be willing to be messy and saying, here's my soul, like it's who I am, like whatever you think, I don't care. Like, I love you, I appreciate you, you, be your greatest possible self, and I'm just gonna share what's on my heart and on my mind. That there's so much freedom. I think that's what we all want, is freedom.
Oh, that's what we all want. And like attracts like, like into it itself is drawn, it's law of attraction 101. So you're going online and you're not being yourself, all those people like you can't find you, because the vibration that you're radiating out, it's going to miss. So you owe it to the world, to your real tribe, to be yourself so they can find you. If you can't be yourself, you're being someone else, trying to be like that person. Your tribe's like, where is she? Where is he? Right? And that's the thing people don't get. They're sabotaging their business. And that's what I teach my students, to own themselves and teach them how to practice doing that. Yeah. And then it becomes easy. You go online and you got 5 people online. Probably all 3 or 4 are going to buy your product because they actually relate to you, right? So you're just focused. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add to this, which is awesome, is there's so many people suffering in the world. One thought that came up for me, like in the beginning, was like, aren't there already enough like people on video, enough podcasters, enough world changers already out there? And I said, there's still people suffering. So like, I get to show up. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, you're right. No, because when we heal, when I heal, you heal. When you heal, I heal. And we came on this planet to heal. That's it. Human beings came on this planet to heal and love, but to heal. And that's why we put ourselves in the families we do, I believe. And that's why we choose the partners we choose. because we're here to learn these lessons to heal our soul and to ascend and to evolve. And so, yeah, no, we need all hands on deck until there's no more war, no more suffering, no more pain.
Yeah.
And we're vibrating at that 5D frequency that everybody's operating from, that 5-dimensional heart-based chakra. We got work to do, y'all. And we're the first wave. And if you're watching this, you're probably a light worker, because you're drawn here. Yeah. There's a part of your soul that wants to make a greater impact on this world. You wouldn't be listening to this broadcast at all. Right. So that's your freaking hello. That's your obvious evidence that you're here to do something big, or your soul would not been vibrating to me and Chris's vibration to get you on this actual podcast.
That's right. And here's your permission. Here is your permission. We are granting you permission. If you haven't given permission to yourself yet, we now dub thee permitted.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Tap, go.
You're in.
You're in. So, really, now is your moment. How are you going to step up? How are you going to take those next steps? How are you going to go be you for your people, the people who need you, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends, whether that's your, your community of professional associates, your tribe, the world who needs to hear you. How are you going to step up and just do that today? What's the next step today? And Amber, I know you got some great next steps for our peeps to take today with you so they can continue their journey and have their light shine even more, own their shadow, own their authentic selves even more. How do they do that, Amber?
So I have the Let Your Light Shine. Well, if you're watching this live in real time, I got a masterclass tonight. You can join 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're watching this real time on, Facebook Live. So it's bit.ly/Shine Live Class, bit.ly. You can register and then you can watch the replay if you're getting this after. And then doors are open for my Let Your Light Shine Live round 4, squad 4 boot camp, which kicks off on the 29th. I would love to have you apply. I think the link is somewhere here.
Yep.
And that's not for everybody, but I'm committed to people who want to completely own who they are and feel free and make a difference on a local scale, a worldwide scale, a family scale. It doesn't matter to me. If you're a light worker, you're a light worker. And if you're feeling drawn to be seen and to make a difference, then this boot camp is for you. So I would love to support you in that. And, moving forward, I've got the Turn Your Crazy into Your Purpose boot camp, which is supporting individuals to get clarity on their purpose, morning ritual, meditation, vibrating at the frequency of abundance and moving all the muck out of the way so they actually can get clarity on their purpose and
Amen.
get them off and running so they can execute it.
Thank you.
I feel like everybody who takes Crazy Boot Camp gets to come work with you and launch their podcast.
Yes.
I feel like that could be the natural transition. Okay, and now you go work with me.
Let's go. Bring it on. So this is great.
And then, and one final thing, I have worldwide workshops called Lightworker Activation, which is for women only, full day of remembrance. And of course, I have my one-on-one coaching to take people from where they are to where they want to be as a spiritual mentor, a business coach, and all around just life purpose cheerleader for you.
I love it. And how do they find you? How do they get in contact with you, message you to find out more?
Yeah, so Life Purpose Cheerleader on Instagram, Life Purpose Cheerleader on Facebook, and lifepurposecheerleader.com. So I'm basically Life Purpose Cheerleader everywhere.
I love it. This is bomb.com. So people, stay connected with Amber. Take that next step with her at Life Purpose Cheerleader, bit.ly/Lightworker Shine Live to go do the Let Your Light Shine Live course, or at least apply for it. Like Amber said, it's not for everyone, but if you're ready for that, take that next step. And then also the bit.ly/Shine Live class. I believe that's the masterclass tonight that's going on Wednesday, June 19th. And Amber, we want to wrap this up with a minute to win it, a minute of your heart message to someone who's listening right now who just really gets to be empowered, gets to remember who they truly are. What do they need to hear, Amber?
Dear one, you're ready. You came on this planet to do big things. You came on this planet to shine. You were gifted. You chose a soul assignment, and you were given all the tools the second you came out of your mother's womb. You are ready. You were born ready. You've been leading and guiding and shining for lifetimes. You cannot mess it up. The only way you can mess it up is continuing to hide out. It's time for you to get out there, to shine bright on all platforms required, to help the people that need to hear your message only from you, the people's lives that you will only change, that you can only change through your voice, through your experience, through your passion, through your gifts. They are waiting. Get over yourself. Do the work required to remember why you came, to love it, to own it, to get support to execute it. Because nobody can do your soul assignment but you. You matter. You're worthy. Your purpose matters. Let's get busy. You are loved. That's it.
I'm just soaking in all of that intention and sharing it back out to the world. Amber Valdez, my goodness, life purpose cheerleader, you're incredible. Thank you so much. I love you, sister. Keep shining your light. Keep owning your shadow. And I know this is just the beginning of all of our greatness and impact in the world. So keep it up, okay?
I adore you. Thank you. I receive all that. Such a gift, such a blessing. And I just want to honor you and acknowledge you for the fire starter you are, for the torchbearer that you are, giving other people permission to shine and to be seen and to be heard. And so thank you for bulldozing your way and showing people what's possible and for fanning my flame. Your vibration and your true heart, your pure heart and soul is so inspiring. So thank you for being an earth angel and a light worker and a world changer. And I freaking see you, brother. And I'm excited to see what we create.
Yes. Woohoo! Let's do it, Amber. Have the best day ever. And we'll see you soon. Everyone, go freaking sign up for that class, that course, apply, and stay connected with the Life Purpose Cheerleader. Thanks so much, Amber.
Thank you, brother. Love you.
Love you too. I'll see you soon.